Hello and welcome to News in Depth here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. On October 31st, a cultural debate reignites Halloween or All Saints' Day, once a Celtic ritual marking the thinning veil between the living and the dead. Halloween has evolved into a night of costumes and candy, but in Poland and across Central Europe it clashes with the solemn Christian and Slavic traditions of All Saints' Day and Dziady. Joining me to explore whether this is a cultural clash or coexistence is Karolina Jaświńska, reporter for TVP World.
Thanks for having me.
Karolina, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time. I know you've been busy. So let's start with some basics, right? Tell us about Halloween. Where's it come from? And then we'll do the same for All Saints' Day.
Okay, so actually Halloween itself, it actually comes from Europe. And in its today's form, it exists only since a few years actually in the United States. But basically you can say that the name of it, Halloween, it's All Hallows Eve. This actually means a day before All Saints.
Okay.
And it actually also has many things that are similar to festives all around the world, like the Dia los Muertos in Mexico, or as you mentioned,
the same date around
yes,
this date?
This is like the turn from October to November. So when the nature
Okay.
dies, the harvest is ready, people spend more time indoors.
Right, so change of seasons.
Exactly.
Right, I mean, this is fascinating. So it started in Europe, right, Halloween, went to America, because now we don't think of it as a European event.
Yeah, it was actually taken by the Irish, I believe.
To America?
To America, yes.
Okay.
Or spread through
Because of its Celtic
Irish
roots and stuff.
Exactly.
Right, okay. So European, Irish, Celtic, America, and then it comes back here.
Exactly.
Okay.
But in a slightly, maybe not slightly, but in a different form.
Right.
Like more fun, more light-hearted way.
Yeah, so trick and treat as...
Exactly.
But all of these things are so American, aren't they? I mean, Europe seems to be pretty good at picking up American traditions, but then they do have a knack for making them fun. Now, so we understand a little bit about Halloween. Tell me about All Saints' Day.
Okay, so the difference between those two is basically the way we're celebrating the dead, let's say. So Halloween is more fun, colorful. It's not only about the spooky, but also about creativity. And All Saints, and here we also need to say in Poland we don't only have All Saints, but also All Souls Day.
Okay.
So let's start with All Saints. This is the day when we think of people who are saints, right? They're already in paradise, they're enjoying their time with God, right? So they're already blessed. They're living their best life, but in the afterlife. And the All Souls Day, this is a day when we reflect on all souls. So everybody else, the people we lost or loved ones, people who maybe have not been Christian. So everybody else who passed away.
Right, okay, so and these 3 days are all next to one another, aren't they?
Yes.
So there's Halloween.
Yes, then we have All Saints Day.
All Saints, and then All Souls.
All Souls Day, yeah. And the Polish version of it, or the Christian version of it, is much more reflective. You spend time with your family as well. So this is, let's say, similar. You think of your loved ones, as I already mentioned, but also just spend time in nature. You go to the cemetery, light a candle, and so on. So it's not so fun, and it's also not so much about fear or, I don't know, corpses or vampires any fictive characters. It's mostly about the theological part of it.
And remembering those,
remembrance, exactly.
Those that have
the
passed.
Memory, the grief as well.
Right. I think we've got some sound bites actually. Because we went around and got some interesting quotations from people. Perhaps we can have one coming up, and then I'll get your view on that.
Sure.
Above all, the purpose of the Dziady celebration is to honor our ancestors, our family members who are no longer with us. to reconnect with those who have passed away and to thank them for what they taught us.
Okay, now he was talking about Dziady. Now, this is getting very confusing. What's Dziady?
Yeah, Dziady is actually an ancient Slavic fest, and this is older than the Christians' All Saints' Day. And this is a day when we actually celebrate our ancestors. So the name of the festivity itself, it comes from Belarusian language, from dziady, and that literally means ancestors.
Okay.
So people were praying to ancestors to be good and patient with the ones that are still living, and they were also asking them to protect their families that are still on the earth. And now we are actually seeing that people tend to miss this layer of Polish identity in a way, so they're trying to revive this old ritual.
So is this, okay, so now help me get this clear. Is this a Slavic religion? Because you say it started before Christianity even.
Yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a religion.
Sorry, it's Slavic tradition, I beg your pardon.
Exactly.
Right, so it's a Slavic tradition.
Yeah.
Is it a Christian tradition?
No, it's not a
It's
Christian
not.
tradition.
And how does that fit in, if at all, with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, or is it something completely different?
Let's say that it's been adapted by the church because people were already celebrating this phase of life, the cycle of life, right? So when it gets colder, the days get shorter and the weather is gloomier, so everybody naturally become more reflective. They also have more time because they don't have to work as much in the field, right? So imagine it's like centuries ago.
Right.
So they don't work in the field, they spend more time together, they spend more time at home, so they reflect on the future, for example, by future telling, and on the past, through thinking of people who already passed away. And then Christianity comes, and you see that people already celebrate death, or celebrate death in a fearful way, let's say. So they fear death, but they also fear that people who died will visit them, right, in this period when nature dies. So, it seems that ghosts and or loved ones, they have a possibility to visit us right now.
This is Dziady we're talking about.
This is Dziady.
Okay.
And the church adapted this day. They actually used the same moment, right, in the year, but just adapted it to Christianity. So they focused more on not ancestors, but the saints, just fearing God, fearing death, and trying to make people think of Christ in a way that he's the one that's responsible for the ability to live on this earth, and it's also a way to get to paradise. So they're focused on Christ and
isn't
change
it
the center.
fascinating, Carolina? We've got these traditions from Ireland, from the United States, from this region, the Slavic region, and from Christianity, and they all have a common thread amongst running through them. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. I'd love to know more about that. But before we do, all of this is causing some controversy at the moment. Tell us about that.
It's not actually at the moment. It's been causing some controversies.
Well, it's the first time I've heard of it. I'll be honest with you. Go on.
Okay, so I think this causes controversies, for example, because of the fact that we are a Christian country, Poland, or it's been a Christian country for a very long time. It still is, but of course you see changes in time. The church tends to present Halloween as a day of glorifying death but in a bad way, right? Like in a villain way. As if dressing up as a vampire would mean that you actually are fascinated by Satan and, you know,
The dark thing.
powers, the dark
Right,
lord.
right.
So you join the dark side, right?
Okay.
But actually other people, like other part of the society can divide it, you know, that dressing up as some fictional character doesn't mean that you want to be it on a daily basis, right? It also enables people to talk about loss, right? Or death in a more playful way, more approachable way.
Right.
And the way the church presents it, I think it speaks more to the older generation, but I don't want it to be like a stereotype. Recently, I saw a reel on Instagram with young people that were partners, and they pretended to be trick-or-treating or actually being like the household. So they opened the door and gave the visitor a Bible.
Right, okay.
So it's not always other people, it's just the way.
So there are ways of bridging the
Exactly.
the controversy, the gap between them. I mean, what is it? I mean, you mentioned age differences. So what about the youngsters? It sounds as though, you know, they're quite happy to embrace Halloween. How do they feel about All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day? Do they understand that as well?
You know, I think that having fun one day and being in a more nostalgic mood the other day, it does not come to your age, right? So younger people are also able to reflect on the past, or they are also missing their loved ones, right? Like a grandfather or a mother that died in an accident or whatever. So
for them, there's no conflict exactly.
I don't think there is, right? Because having contact with pop culture and dressing up as your favorite character, this is one thing. So it's just like the two sides of the same culture coin, I would say.
So they can do it. They can do it. Now, do you, in a more general way, do you find that the younger generation today is as committed to the traditional Christian traditions like All Saints and All Souls Days as, let's say, the previous generation? Or is that being diluted?
It's hard to say. So on the one hand, I would say that people are focusing more on just spending time with family, right? Maybe cooking, going somewhere, going in a cemetery, and then having a long walk in the park, because those are mostly located in parks. But on the other hand, it seems shorter, so people also don't have that much time to reflect on things, so the speed of life is totally different. So it's actually hard to compare this.
Right. Different context.
Exactly.
Between the generations. Now, the other fascinating, we were talking earlier, and I remember, you know, the other amazing and fascinating thing you were telling me about is that around this time of year, there are many such traditions celebrated around the year, around the world. Tell us about a few of those.
There's, for example, Diwali in India, right? And also the Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. That's, I think that's the most known one, right? It's a more live. Dia de los Muertos, so it's the Day of the Dead.
The Day of the Dead.
Yes,
okay.
It's widely celebrated, it's very colorful, and it looks like a big party. And maybe you saw this movie, Coco. This will bring you to tears, I
Really?
swear. Yes.
Well, I'm not sure I want to be brought to tears just yet, but I'll take your word for it. So, Day of the Dead. And what was Diwali about, roughly?
I think this is also about the changing of the seasons, right? And the ancestors, and just mourning and remembrance.
Right. No, it's really, really very interesting to see how around the world this period is celebrated in this way. So What are the plans now in terms of government events and so on for Halloween and for All Saints, All Souls? What would a typical Polish family, Polish couple do? Are there any events laid on? Are there any traditions that are followed?
I don't think we can describe it in terms of a tradition in Poland when it comes to Halloween. So I must say that it becomes more and more popular for sure. So it's because of this contact with pop culture, right? With films, with internet, and so on and so on. So we can imagine that a family goes to a costume party one night and then goes to the cemetery the next day. What I see mostly in my experience is that people take a free day, so it's actually a national holiday. You go to the cemetery, you meet your family, you have a big dinner, and then the next day you can also go to cemetery, to church, and reflect on your family. But the second day should actually be the core of it. But from what I see is that the All Saints Day is more widely celebrated.
Are there special services at church on All Saints or All Souls Day?
I'd say that there are special. They're a bit more special because they focus on a special part of the Bible, and you also mention the names of people that passed away, and so on and so on. And you also have this big celebration in the cemetery.
And I should imagine it's also a wonderful opportunity for communities to get together as well at the cemetery or at church, and I'm sure that the socializing continues after that as well at someone's house for lunch or something.
Exactly.
So I hope you're going to have a great weekend, Karolina. You have anything planned?
Thank you. Yes, unfortunately I'm not celebrating Halloween this year, but I used to when I was a kid.
Okay.
I remember throwing paper on some doors.
Okay, your secret's safe.
It was a trick. It was a trick. Right?
It was a trick. Yeah,
there
your
was no
secret's
truth
safe with us. Okay. Well, I'm going to have a Halloween party. Any excuse for a party, I'm there. Thank you very much, Karolina, for taking the time. Great to talk.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that brings us to the end of this episode of News in Depth. Don't go away, though, lots more coming up. Goodbye.